Welcome to the very first official podcast of Second Gear with Debbie, and I'm so glad you're here. You're obviously a woman navigating the frustrating and confusing time of life, going through either perimenopause or postmenopause. Well, you have found your tribe. This is a space dedicated to helping you feel strong again, energized and utterly unstoppable as you navigate this stage of your life. I'm your host, Debbie, and like most of you, I've also walked this path or sometimes run through this stage of my life. And as an ultra runner, I thought I understood my body pretty well. But then, like most of us, my body threw me a curveball, one I did not see coming. And all my usual methods, training, nutrition, everything, just suddenly stopped working for me. And I think the most frustrating thing for me was that nobody was talking about it. I didn't see it coming. It was almost as if people were embarrassed to talk about this, which is really strange because as women, we're always talking about absolutely everything, right? And most of the information out there felt limited and confusing. And more often than not, we're told to just either suck it up or push through it. And oh, my personal favorite, just go natural. I mean, what does that even mean? I mean, what is more natural than my body producing estrogen and progesterone? So if you think about it, half the population are women, and every single one of us is going to be going through this. And we absolutely need to educate ourselves better. So this is what drove me to deep dive into what exactly is going on, the science behind it, and how to navigate it. And that's what this podcast is about, to help you. I think it's also just important to clarify that I'm not a medical professional. I come from it as a sports coach, a running coach, a sports nutritionist, and just another woman deeply immersed in going through this transition herself. Okay, so for the first episode, I want to delve into the question I hear the most. How exactly do you know that you are going through perimenopause? It's not always a sudden onset like hitting that wall during the race. It's more if you can imagine the gentle, gradual terrain changing as you're running along a trail. And unfortunately, it's not always the obvious symptoms that you've heard about. The hot flashes, for example. Perimenopause literally means around menopause. It's the transitional period of about 2 to 9 years that lead up to menopause, which is that one day where you've not had your period for 12 months. And during this time, your hormones, primarily estrogen and progesterone, fluctuate. Think of it as a symphony orchestra. And all the instruments have gone rogue and they're all playing out of tune and everybody's doing their own thing. It's pretty much what's going on in your body at the time. And this leads to one of the biggest frustrations for women looking for answers, going to the doctor and being sent for blood tests. And the reality is that there is no single blood test that could accurately reflect whether you're going through perimenopause or not, because your hormones fluctuate all the time. They fluctuate several times during the day. They fluctuate from day to day. It's like, imagine you're taking a photograph of someone and that person is sitting there smiling. It doesn't mean that they're a perfectly happy person all the time. It's a singular moment in time. If you take a photo a little bit later on, they're shouting at their kids, they're making dinner and they're looking all haggard. It doesn't mean that they're always looking haggard and making dinner for their kids. And that's why understanding your symptoms and tracking your symptoms is a far more accurate way of determining whether you're going through this phase or not. And to help with that tracking, if you aren't already, you should absolutely start tracking your monthly cycle. And as runners, many of us are probably using apps like Garmin Connect or Apple Health. These platforms already track our fitness, and it's an excellent way to track your symptoms and your monthly cycle. So think about it. The more data you have, the more stats there are, the more accurately you can track your symptoms. So the more data you have, the more accurately you can spot trends and changes and hormonal shifts. But a crucial point is, what if you have an IUD like the Mirena and you don't actually have any normal periods? Reality is you still have those hormonal fluctuations monthly, even if you're not actually bleeding. So you can still track your body's internal clock by just keeping a journal. So pay attention to subtle shifts in things like your mood, your energy, maybe a little bit of joint stiffness, the amount of time it takes you to recover from a hard session, nutrition. We obviously still get those cravings at that time of the month. Nothing changes there. And what about women who've had a hysterectomy? So if you've had a hysterectomy and you still have your ovaries, you won't have periods to track, but you're still producing hormones and they will eventually start declining as well. You'll still go through perimenopause and postmenopause, but it'll be tracked through your symptoms alone. If you have had your ovaries removed along with your uterus, you will enter surgical menopause immediately. And regardless of your age, your symptoms will probably be a lot more severe and sudden. And in both these cases, symptom tracking is going to be your most powerful tool. And then just in case you're not confused enough, did you know that there's over 60 symptoms to be tracking? And that just means that your experience could be widely different from anybody else's. So we obviously can't cover all 60, but let's go through the most common ones. Changes to your menstrual cycle, and this is often the earliest and the most telling. Your periods might become shorter, longer, heavier, less frequent. You might start skipping months, and it's that unpredictable nature that's the key here. Sleep disturbances. You might find yourself struggling to fall asleep. You might find yourself struggling to stay asleep, and you find yourself waking up regularly. And this isn't always linked to night sweats. It's just your hormones affecting your sleep cycle. Mood swings, anxiety, and irritability. Everyone's favorites. 1 minute you're fine, then you can't remember why you walked into a room. Then you're planning mass murder, and the next you're crying during a commercial. These are all normal. Sudden emotional shifts disproportionate to the situation, very common. Hormonal fluctuations directly impact our neurotransmitters, like serotonin. Unexplained fatigue. You're training normally, you're eating normally, and maybe you're even sleeping normally, but there's that abnormal feeling of just pure and utter bone-tired, exhausted. No, my puppy, just lie down for me. Come, you lie down. Lie down. Lie down. Come, lie down. Yes, good boy. Good boy. There's changes in body composition. I think most women would start noticing weight changes, weight gain, especially around the middle, and even if their diet and exercise hasn't changed at all. Building and maintaining muscle also then becomes a little bit more difficult, and that's just due to the shift in how our bodies process energy and store fat. Joint aches and pains, also a favorite, and this can be incredibly frustrating, especially for runners. Suddenly your knees, your hips, your shoulders feel achy, they feel stiff, and there's no clear or obvious injury. Estrogen obviously plays a role in joint lubrication and connective tissue health. Brain fog and memory loss. You're misplacing your keys, you're forgetting words mid-sentence, you're forgetting why you walked into a room, or you're just struggling to focus. It's often called menobrain. It is real, and it's linked to hormonal changes affecting cognitive function. Changes in libido. Yep, you know what I'm talking about. And yes, the most common and most talked about, the hot flushes and the night sweats. And while not everyone gets them, these are classic signs and symptoms. And oftentimes the one that finally make women say, uh-huh, this might be it. The thing to remember is that you might not be experiencing all of these things, and they can obviously vary in intensity. What often happens is it's a combination of these symptoms and your sense of well-being. It's when you just feel off and you can't quite pinpoint or put your finger on exactly what it is. So if you're experiencing any of these symptoms or a combination of them, just please know that you are not alone. We are all going to go through something very similar. It's not all in your head. It's all just a process of shifting to new gears. So now you suspect that you might be going through perimenopause based on your symptoms. What next? I think the first and most important thing is to educate yourself. Have that informed conversation with your healthcare provider and find somebody that's actually knowledgeable in menopause and doesn't just dismiss you. One of the most effective and evidence-backed ways to manage going through perimenopause and menopause and to protect your long-term health is hormone replacement therapy. And this literally involves replacing the hormones that your body is no longer producing. Estrogen and progesterone, and testosterone. The benefits of HRT, especially when it started at the right time and for the right person, can be profound. It is the most effective treatment for hot flashes and night sweats, and it significantly improves quality of life. It plays a crucial role in protecting bone density, and that's important for all women. It offers cardiovascular benefits and protects your heart as estrogen levels decline. Many women report significant improvements in sleep, mood, and cognitive function. And it absolutely helps with that frustrating brain fog. Oh my God. You see, I just had one. Helping with that frustrating brain fog. And overall, I think it can dramatically improve your general health and well-being and actually allow you to get back to your normal self again. Now, there's been a lot of historical misinformation and fear around HRT, and these are all stemmed from older and flawed studies. I urge you to look at the current, robust scientific evidence and have an open dialogue with a knowledgeable healthcare professional. I get that it's not for everyone, but for most of us, it'll be absolutely life-changing. But for those who either can't take HRTs or prefer to explore more alternative avenues, there are various over-the-counter and natural remedies out there. And some women do actually find it helpful for their symptom treatment and management. I mean, it's obviously not as severe and potent as HRTs, but it can absolutely offer complementary support. Black cohosh, for example. This is a popular herbal supplement, often used for hot flashes and mood swings. Magnesium. This is an essential mineral and can be beneficial to improving sleep, quality of sleep, and ease muscle cramp. It also supports the nervous system, which can help a lot with anxiety as well. Omega-3 fatty acids. This is found in fish oil and can help a lot with inflammation, which is obviously heightened during menopause, and also supports mood and brain health. Acupuncture has shown some promising results for reducing hot flashes and improving sleep for some women. I think it's crucial to remember that these treatments often vary in their effectiveness, and you should always discuss supplements and traditional remedies with your doctor, especially if you're taking other medications. I think the key here is to find a personal approach that works for you and your body. So I guess understanding these signs and symptoms is the most important part and the very first step in taking back your control. It's about empowering yourself with knowledge so you can start to implement strategies that truly support your body through this amazing transition. And that's exactly what we're going to try and do for you here on Second Gear. I'll try and provide you with the practical tools and insights from smart training and tailored nutrition and mindset, so you can not only navigate these changes, but absolutely thrive. I want to help you confidently shift into your second gear and feel strong, healthy, and happy again. Thank you so much for tuning into this very first episode. If anything we've discussed today resonates with you, or you learned something new, please do me a huge favor and subscribe to Second Gear with Debbie on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. Spotify, Apple Podcast, or you're watching this on YouTube. And if you know another woman who might be experiencing these shifts, please share this episode with her as well. Your support truly helps us build a vital community. Next time, let's delve a little bit deeper into more specific strategies for managing that pervasive menopause fatigue. You won't want to miss it. Until then, keep moving, keep listening to your body, and remember, you're stronger than you think. This is Debbie, and you've been listening to Second Gear.